and he wasn't going to do anything to fuck it up. Sub or no sub. But give him a nice high-altitude jump infill from a plane any day of the week. Navy SEALs were supposed to be as at home in the water as they were on land, and he was. A sub wasn't either of them. But if he didn't want to hear about being the SEAL who was scared of subs for the rest of his career, he'd better get himself under control. MIT was a bad enough code name for someone who'd gone to Caltech, but he was damned sure Donovan could come up with something much worse. He'd heard of one guy who'd thrown up on his first mission, and it had taken him 10 years to lose the name Cookie, as in toss yours. "My stomach is hurting," Brian admitted. He knew better than to deny, but he could try to deflect. "No more Mexican food in Norway. Those fish tacos sounded a hell of a lot better than they went down." As a fellow Californian, Donovan winced in sympathy and shook his head. "It's a siren's call, FNG. Fucking new guy, his other nickname. Why couldn't it be good old Murph? "The promise of a burrito or taco is hard to resist, but you'll learn. Nothing will kill your optimism like Mexican food in Europe. They try, God love 'em, but it's never quite right." "Jesus Christ, don't get him started on Mexican food," Senior Chief Dean Baylor interjected with a glare directed at Brian. "I'm tired of his constant moaning. You'd think it was all he could eat." "You might understand if you came from a state where they actually knew how to make it. Ranch, beans, and cheese sauce?" Donovan shuddered dramatically. "I think I'll be sick here along with FNG." Actually, the fucking new guy wasn't feeling so sick anymore. Brian wondered if that had been Donovan's intention. Lightening the mood seemed to be the role he'd carved out in the 14-member platoon. Richierus Platoon, named for the gladiators who killed with a net and a trident, the SEAL insignia. Yet here they were, on their way to undertake one of the most difficult ops any SEAL team had ever attempted, an operation that put the fuck up and you die in no fail. And they were talking about Mexican food. "It's queso, asshole," Senior Chief Baylor said. "And Tex-Mex isn't Mexican. It's a Texan improvement." Brian looked at Donovan in horror, but he wasn't going to be the one to tell the last person you want to piss off Senior Chief that he was out of his ever-loving mind. Another voice popped in from farther down the hull. "Those are fighting words where I come from, Tex." Brian recognized the voice of Michael Ruiz, the 3rd Californian in the 14-man platoon, although he might as well have been from another galaxy. The ganglands of south-central L.A. were light years away from Pasadena, where Brian had grown up, though their houses were probably no more than 20 miles apart. Brian didn't know whether Ruiz had actually been in a gang, but he looked mean enough and had the ink on his arms to make it likely. "My Winkler can take on your switchblade any time, Miggy," the Senior Chief said. The rest of the team laughed. "You guys are a bunch of racist assholes," Ruiz said with a disgusted shake of his head. "Except for you, White," he said to the assistant platoon commander, Lieutenant Charles White III, a.k.a. Charles Not White. "Technically, I'm half a racist asshole, Miggy. My mom was white as heart over there, and I like both Mexican and Tex-Mex." Only in the locker room atmosphere of the teams could you get away with needling a Mexican guy for his switchblade, or calling him Miguel when his name was actually Michael, or nicknaming a black guy, half-black guy, with the last name of White Not. But when you trusted that guy with your life on almost a daily basis, and vice versa, race was just one more potential topic to give someone shit about. Senior Chief Baylor and Ruiz had been best friends for years, but the entire platoon was as tight as brothers. They were the only family most of them had. That was part of why they'd been handed.